All right, paying attention to the G-20 meeting in Seoul, South Korea, the meeting of the world's top economic leaders. It concluded. Our next guest says that we've all missed an opportunity to resolve some key points at the summit. Steve Dunaway is currently a senior fellow for the Council on Foreign Relations and was deputy director of the Asia and Pacific Department of the International Monetary Fund. Steve, good to have you with us on Bloomberg.
Oh, thank you, Pimm.
So what was the missed opportunity? We didn't get the free trade agreement with South Korea, nor did we get any kind of resolution on currency issues.
Yeah, that's right. What was hoped out of this summit, at least they'd make a little bit more progress in terms of dealing with some of the key issues, particularly with the exchange rate. A lot of the anticipation was set up at the end of October with the finance ministers meeting, where they had come to more or less a basic agreement about on language with respect to the types of policies that countries should follow, and in particular emphasizing that countries should stay away from policies that would result in competitive devaluations, and that should move towards more flexible rates. And then there was also a U.S. proposal that as a way of trying to gauge whether countries were making progress along these lines, that you would look at external imbalances, current account imbalances, as a rough indicator. So the expectation was that at the leaders' meeting, they would reach a little bit firmer agreement on exactly how they would use these external imbalance indicators to decide whether countries were doing the right thing. Unfortunately, because in between, the U.S. took the decision to engage in additional quantitative easing, and for some strange reason, that set off a pretty adverse reaction around the rest of the world, and I think that kind of hijacked the summit in terms of the summit being able to achieve a whole lot.
All right, but Steve, there were a lot of hugs, a lot of handshakes, a lot of warm smiles, but Ben Bernanke wasn't there, and yet he was at focus of the conversation.
Yeah, well, the move by the U.S. Introduced a new variable in the situation. You know, leading up to the ministers' meeting in late October, there was a lot of this discussion about whether or not a currency war was emerging, and by increasing the money supply in the U.S. through quantitative easing, well, one of the spillover effects could possibly be, and is likely to be, that you see additional downward pressure on the U.S. dollar. That in turn, the concern was it would lead to upward pressure on other currencies, particularly as capital started to flow from the U.S. to the major countries where growth is much faster, particularly those in East Asia.
All right, we've got to leave it there. Steve Dunaway coming to us from the Council on Foreign Relations. Thank you very much.